Hey, so today we're going to be talking about this right here. This site shows stats for units sold for investors. This is the official site that investors look into, and this is Activision's section for Call of Duty. Now, if you look, it says Modern Warfare 4 as one of the games listed, but the problem is it says working title underneath it, and then it says 2013. If you don't know what a working title is, it's a decoy title. To throw off anybody trying to leak information, it's a decoy title. But what's interesting is that it's listed as its own separate game and has its own separate investments. Now, if it was a decoy title, then the investments would be included on whatever game it was the decoy of. For instance, Call of Duty Iron Wolf is not its own separate game, or does it have its own investments because it was the decoy title for Black Ops 2. Those investments are all together, right? Its decoy title is not separately listed. Now, if you're familiar with Call of Duty, you know as soon as they release a title, they start working on their next title. So in 2013, when Ghost was released, they started working on another title right after that. But you know, after Call of Duty Ghost, that we got a whole bunch of boost jump games. Now that's because Activision stepped in and kind of forced projects on developers. Sledgehammer Games was not going to release Advanced Warfare. They were originally going to make a Vietnam shooter, and Activision forced them to scrap that project and instead make Advanced Warfare. Black Ops 3 was not going to have boost jumps. Activision forced them to have boost jumps. And I believe Infinity Ward was going to make a completely different title than Infinite Warfare, but they were forced to make Infinite Warfare for the boost jumps. And this listing for investors is the tiny footprint left behind by that scrapped project. Now, the person who showed this to me is a YouTuber and Twitter user by the name of Scruffy Charms. This is the tweet that he sent to me, and it has the Statista website on there. He says, of course, it's the official site for investors in game sales data. So, of course, I did my investigation. I found what I found. But then we were private messaging back and forth, and he told me that the site had since taken down the listing for Modern Warfare 4. And I went back, and sure enough, it's gone. I think the reason for that is because if they are going to relist Modern Warfare 4 for this year, they don't want to confuse investors with a previous listing of the same game title. I mean, yeah, there's Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and then there's Modern Warfare Remastered, but those titles are both discernibly different, the way they're written. So it just makes sense that they took it down now because of the upcoming Call of Duty. Think about it. It was up there. The listing for Modern Warfare 4 was on this site for about 6 years. And they just now decided to take it down with the upcoming Call of Duty made by Infinity Ward. I think it's obvious the title at this point is going to be Modern Warfare 4, let alone the story. Now next I want to talk about Joel Emsley's Twitter again. As you know, he gets a lot of tweets from fans that say Modern Warfare 4 in it, that say, I can't wait for Modern Warfare 4, tell us about Modern Warfare 4, I'm excited to see you working on Modern Warfare 4. He refuses to acknowledge them. He does not like them. Now, as you see, he liked another photo by Dave of a modern soldier, but he then liked one of my posts. This is where it's really important, guys. So my post, I made a poll, and the poll says, do you think the villain in Modern Warfare 4 should be a previous or a descendant of a previous villain from Modern Warfare, or do you think it should be a completely new villain? Now, I gave 3 options. One is a descendant of Zakhaev and Makarov, descendant of General Shepard, or a completely new villain. And I mean, I made sure that when you read this, you know I'm talking about Modern Warfare 4, that I'm talking about the bad guy in its campaign, right, to continue the story. So that there would be no confusion on what I was talking about. I even have hashtag Modern Warfare 4 in there, and I wrote Modern Warfare 4 right there. But as you can see, the poll came out pretty even across the board. So I said, according to this, you guys can really do no wrong, and I tweeted that at him, and he liked it. The reason they can do no wrong is because if it's evenly, if every option is evenly liked across the board, there's going to be equal support for the game no matter who the bad guy is. And this guy noticed how important this was. He said he liked it because he knows that Joel Emsley usually avoids anything related to Modern Warfare or upcoming game that he's currently working on. But this not only acknowledges the game, Modern Warfare 4, this acknowledges a campaign that they're working on. So anyways, guys, yeah, this was huge. If you don't realize how huge it is, I'm sorry. You can go check out my videos, the previous videos on the latest news on this. They'll be in the description. Scruffy Charms information will be down in the description for his Twitter page and YouTube channel. Please keep up the support. Get in the comments. Keep the conversation going. Again, if you have any other information that you can, send my way, I'll look into it. If I think it's legit enough, I'll put it in my video. I'll talk about it, and I'll give you a shout out. But yeah, keep talking about it. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.